All right, welcome. ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Wednesday, the 5th of April. Good to have you aboard. We are a Blue Wire podcast. However you're listening to ZASLOW Show 2.0, always appreciate that. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that fun stuff. It's great for the algorithm. It's then great for me. I get all the monies. We get really rich, and then everybody's happy. So I appreciate if you do that. You tell your friends, you tell your family, you tell your mother I say hello. All that good stuff, that helps me, and I appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Of course, everything ZASLOW Show 2.0, always presented by our title sponsor. That's Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you've been involved in an accident, if you're dealing with a personal injury, I don't trust anyone but Anidjar and Levine to make sure that you're taken care of. You got to take care of your health, and they're going to get you the money that you deserve. You focus on the important thing, which is being healthy, and they're going to focus on everything else. If you're in an accident, you call 911 first. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. That's the number you call right after you call 911. You're going to get an attorney on the phone immediately. My guys, Mark Anidjar, Glenn Levine, Ellie Anidjar, this whole operation here would not be possible without their support. Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorneys, 800-747-3733. As you can tell, I'm in a great mood, obviously, because it's Passover. No, that's not why I'm in a great mood. I'm in a great mood because the Panthers last night. That's right, the Panthers, the number one wild card seed right now. That's why we're in a great mood. The Panthers, I declared them dead in the water a week and a half ago. Look at you now. Obviously, I'm talking to myself there. Was that a reverse jinx? I don't know. We'll see. But I declared them dead in the water a week and a half ago. And now Alex Lyon saving the day in between the pipes of the Panthers. You love to see it. So I'm super pumped about the Panthers right now. We're going to talk about them. We're going to start the show with the Panthers. Yes, a happy Pesach to everybody observing out there. For the Goyim, for the Gentiles out there who don't know what that means, that's Passover, okay? So it's no more bread. It's matzah. It's the unleavened bread because the Jews, we were walking through that desert and the bread was unleavened. So no more bread. It's matzah now, all right, for the next week. You got a Seder tonight. What does that mean? It means that my family, my mother, my father, we got my brother and sister-in-law are staying with us here. It's a whole deal. We got Passover Seder at the ZASLOW Mansion tonight. So we got good food. We got another Seder tomorrow. There's a lot happening here, okay? So it is Passover now in the ZASLOW Mansion. But that doesn't mean that the sports stop. Everything continues. Everything is still going. So by the way, shout out to my guy, John Rapp, JLR Events, hooking me up with tickets last night. How about that? That's right. Last night, we went to the Panther game, and you remember, I told you guys, I wasn't trying to go to the Panthers. Everybody knows when I'm trying to go to the Panthers, that means I'm looking for the hookup. But I wanted to go to the game. And then I didn't get around to buying tickets. Tickets are expensive this time of year. And then all of a sudden, I get the phone call from my man, John Rapp, JLR Events, setting us up. Do you want our Club Red tickets and the buffet and all you can eat, all you drink? I'm like, yes, I do. So we went to the game last night. We had a great time. Me and my son and my brother-in-law, the three of us went. So here's what happened. And part of the reason I didn't purchase the tickets for the game yesterday in advance like I was thinking of was I had to do a WrestleMania recap show. It's Still Real to Me, bonus episode of It's Still Real to Me. It dropped late last night, so it's out right now. Make sure you catch up on that. WrestleMania and Raw After Mania reaction, me and my pal Joey Levin. So that's out there right now. That's available. And we were recording that last night. So I decided, okay, you know what I could do? Yes, John, I would very much like these tickets. And we're going to stay for 2 periods. I mean, my son's got school tomorrow anyway. Not that that's a big deal, but we'll stay for the 2 periods. And then I got to come home and I got to record It's Still Real to Me. So that's out there. That's available now. Go listen or watch, YouTube, but listen to the podcast is what really is important for me. So go listen to the newest episode, bonus episode of It's Still Real to Me. We recap WrestleMania 39 and a terrible Raw After Mania, which is very, very concerning, but that's neither here nor there right now. So go check that out. So we go to the Panther game last night, and by the way, Man, I love going to Panther games. It's so convenient. You get there lickety-split. You get out lickety-split. And I live close enough. Everybody knows I run Cooper City. All right? Everybody knows that. And everybody knows where FLA Live Arena is, right? Sunrise, Sawgrass. So we left right at the end of the second period. Got home, sitting at my desk here to start recording It's Still Real to Me with the Panther game on, a minute into the third period. Missed a minute. We left the arena, got home, missed 1 minute of the third period. Panthers win last night 2-1. Everybody knows that at this point. But that was a great game. And before I get to the game, so we sat in the Club Red seats, which I've done a few times, but not in years. Like, it was definitely still called, I don't even know what it's called. I think it used to be called Club Red. I think now it's Club Lexus or Club Amaranth. That's what it is, right? So I've sat in it when it's Club Lexus. I've sat in it when it's Club Red. Club Amaranth, that's the new bank that's sponsoring everything. First time I've been in those seats in a long time. And forget about the seats being great. Again, shout out JLR Events. Forget that the seats are great. I mean, we're sitting right there on the blue line. But the buffet, the food, the beer and wine. I didn't drink the wine because I'm not a sissy. I drank beer. But the food, oh my God. What a setup there. And it's not like garbage buffet. It's good food. What a setup. I don't know if I could ever go to a game that's not sitting in the Club Amaranth. That's how I have to go. That's how we have to go to games now. My son Jordan, he's my partner for all these Panther games. He especially loved it. My brother-in-law was impressed too. So the three of us, we had a great time. We left after the second period. Like I said, it was 1-1. But a great game. But like you knew going into the game, and I told you guys this. You knew going into the game, the Panthers could essentially end Buffalo's season. And if Buffalo were to win, it would make things really difficult for the Panthers. Buffalo would still have a hill to climb, but it would make things really difficult for the Panthers. Panthers can essentially end Buffalo's season, which they pretty much did last night. Early in the third period, matter of fact, it was so early in the third period. Like I said, we got home a minute into the third, right as we were pulling up to the house. Matthew Tkachuk scores what ends up being the game-winning goal. So the Panthers win 2-1 last night. Alex Lyon, once again, is the story. Dude is standing on his head. He was fantastic again last night. And by the way, a little shaky early on. Panthers got lucky where Buffalo scored early in the game, and then you get the challenge. Murderer Fun, Paul Morty's challenges for offside. Now, when the coach challenges the goal for goalie interference, that's very hit or miss. So that's more of a subjective call by the official. When the coach challenge offside, they usually get it right. Because there's a reason why they're challenging. So the referees are on the headset. They're looking at the review. Finally, they show the replay on the Jumbotron. It's one of the most egregious offside challenges I've seen all year. Maybe the most egregious. So obviously offside. He was so far offside. It's kind of ridiculous that the official missed it. So that goal gets taken away. Buffalo still goes up 1-0. Panthers score late in the first to tie it. No goals in the second. And then, like I said, Tkachuk early in the third. Alex Lyon, though, phenomenal. What a job. 4 straight games, 4 straight wins. Think about this. The Panthers had lost 4 in a row going into that game in Toronto. 4 in a row. You get word Bobrovsky is sick. Oh my God, we lost 4 in a row. Now no Bobrovsky. Alex Lyon steps in there, stands on his head the game against Toronto, and now you got these wins. Toronto, Montreal, Columbus, last night, Buffalo. 4-0. And Alex Lyon's numbers for the season are absolutely nothing better than average. Nothing better than average. And the job that he has done for this team in these 4 games, he is saving this season if the Panthers get to the postseason. What a tremendous job. Now, you want Bobrovsky back? Hopefully it comes as early as Thursday. But what a tremendous job by this kid. You got to give it up. You're going to remember that Toronto game, and you'll remember what Alex Lyon has done during this stretch if the Panthers make the playoffs. So I'm super happy for him. And if I could also say, man, I love Matthew Tkachuk. There's this one video that the Panthers put out on Twitter. It's like the camera behind the bench, so you could see the players from their backs. And it's the closing seconds as the Panthers are not only trying to kill off the power play, the penalty, but you also got the extra skater out there for Buffalo. And as the clock is running down and the Panthers get it clear, and Tkachuk, he's got his arm wrapped around I forget who it was, maybe it was Reinhardt. He's jumping up and down, he's giddy. I mean, these dudes care, especially Matthew Tkachuk. These dudes care. It's the NHL, I'm telling you, I'm over trying to tell you guys how good the NHL is, but you look at the NHL regular season, the Panthers are playing super meaningful games here. We're all into it. The players are into it. The Heat are essentially playing meaningful games as well. Wasn't really into the game last night. I recorded it, watched it when I got home. I was like, all right, I'm glad they won. I'm glad Jimmy saved them from losing at the Pistons. But you look at this NHL, the players are so into it. No one takes days off. There's no load management bullshit. And you could see the players care. I mean, Matthew Tkachuk is a star, and he cares this much over these regular season games. I love it, man. Matthew Tkachuk's been an absolute home run. Just a home run for this team. And here's where we stand now. And by the way, I talked about this yesterday with George Richards, where we were going to find out last night about this Panther team. What I mean by that is, okay, you get that miracle win in Toronto where they score the extra skaters on the ice. Under a minute left, they tie the game. Reinhardt with the deflection. And then you get a miracle in overtime. Montour wins it. Then you beat up Montreal. They stink. You beat Columbus 7-0. That was a minor league team they threw out there. So, okay, they've won 3 in a row. But now against Buffalo, a desperate team who is fighting for that last playoff spot just like you, and you got a shot here. Now you're going to find out if this Panther team is maybe getting it going, if they are going to make this one last push for the postseason. You were going to find out last night against Buffalo, because the Toronto game was a miracle, and Montreal and Columbus, those are bad teams. But Buffalo, this is a game where you get a little bit of a sense where this Panther team is at. They played very, very well. Very well. So, here's where we stand. It's funny, throughout the game yesterday, and my son is really into it. My younger son, Jordan, loves the Panthers. And he also loves standings. He loves seeing standings. So he's way into the Panthers fighting for the playoff position. Now, the Islanders were not playing last night, but the Penguins were. Penguins were at New Jersey. So, as we're sitting there watching the Panther game, my son has on his phone the Gamecast of Penguins Devils. He's given updates the entire night. 1-0 Devils, 2-0 Devils, 3-0 Devils. So, the Devils beat the Penguins 5-1 last night. Islanders were off. Last night was the game in hand that the Panthers had on the Islanders. Panthers win. As a result, here's where we sit. The number 1 wildcard spot right now belongs to your Florida Panthers. The Panthers, with 87 points and 4 games remaining, have the number 1 wildcard spot right now. Number 2, also with 87 points, is the Islanders. The Panthers right now own the tiebreak because the first tiebreak, believe it or not, is not head-to-head. It's regulation wins. The Panthers have 34 regulation wins. The Islanders have 33. And the Penguins are way behind with only 29 regulation losses. So the Panthers own the tiebreak right now against the Islanders, and they definitely are going to win the tiebreak against the Penguins. The Penguins are the first team on the outside right now, 1 point back with 86. All 3 teams have 4 games remaining. So we are even for the final 4 games of this season, and the Panthers have the number 1 wildcard spot. Now, you just want to get in. Most years, you just want to get in. But if you can get that number 1 wildcard spot, you would not face Boston in the first round. Boston's a killer. Boston has 125 points. They have won 60 of 77 games this year. If you get the number 1 wildcard spot, you avoid Boston. And then, hey, it's on. It looks like you would play Carolina. Outside shot, it would be New Jersey. But if you get that number 1 spot, you avoid Boston. Huge. So here's what remains for the Panthers. Tomorrow night, home against Ottawa. Ottawa is they're done. They're 6 points back of the final playoff spot. They're done. Ottawa on Thursday. This Saturday night at Washington. Washington, they're also done. They're 10 back. They're done. Then next week, finish at home, 2 games at home. Toronto, who is going to finish second in the Atlantic, but they still got a lot to play for, obviously, because you want to maybe finish ahead of New Jersey for seeding purposes as the postseason moves on. So you got Toronto at home, and then finish the season at home against Carolina. Now, I spoke to George Richards yesterday. He does not think, even if Carolina has number 2 and number 1 in their division all sewn up, Rob Brindamore, they hate the Panthers. They're not going to be sitting guys. They're going to be playing it out. So it could come down to the final day of the season, Panthers hosting Carolina to get into the playoffs, and then a potential matchup with Carolina in the first round of the playoffs. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's what's remaining right now. I said the Panthers were dead a week and a half ago. Maybe that's a reverse jinx. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But after last night's win and a little bit of help from the Devils, that's what I'm talking about. The Panthers are sitting at the number 1 wildcard spot right now. Let's go! Let's go! And I slept really well last night. You know I was going to sleep well because you got the double dip. Panthers win and Heat win. But I also really slept well because I'm sleeping on sheets and giggles. You guys know this. Sheets and Giggles, I can't get over how good that comforter is. My man Colin, founder and CEO, Sheets and Giggles. I got to send you some stuff. Like, yeah, please. I mean, I hear Sheets and Giggles is amazing. So now I sleep on Sheets and Giggles. My entire family, my boys have it in their bedrooms too. We are now 4 of over 100,000 Americans that are sleeping on Sheets and Giggles. So soft, so breathable, cool. They're naturally softer than whatever you're sleeping on right now. And super environmentally friendly, okay? Hypoallergenic, zero static, lower surface friction than cotton. Also, like I said, environmentally friendly. Absolutely zero pesticides or insecticides are used. 400 thread count. Everybody loves their thread count. And hey, your first order, if you use my promo code ZASLOW, 20% off your first order. That's thanks to Colin. Come on, man. Sheets and Giggles. SheetsGiggles.com. SheetsGiggles.com. Use promo code ZASLOW. I got that eucalyptus pillow, which I love. Obviously, the pillowcase, the sheets, the fitted sheet, the comforter. I love this comforter. But you got eucalyptus mattresses also. I don't have the eucalyptus mattress yet, but if it's anything like the eucalyptus pillow, oh my God, come on. So, SheetsGiggles.com, one of our newest sponsors here, ZASLOW Show 2.0. I love having them on board. I love the Panthers and the Heat winning on the same night. As far as the Heat go, so here's where by the way, here's what we got coming up on the show today. My man John Alba, Fight TV, he's one of the better wrestling media guys. The wrestling media is kind of a weird bunch sometimes. He's one of the better guys, all right? I think he's one of the best guys. Fight TV, he hosts the Extreme Life with Matt Hardy podcast. He hosts the Strictly Business with Eric Bischoff podcast as well. Last time we spoke with him was when the WWE sale rumors were like crazy. Remember, they were selling to the Saudis. No. Bullshit. Well, now WWE has been sold to Endeavor. John Alba was covering WrestleMania. He was there. We're going to talk to him about WrestleMania. And what's going on with this sale? What does it mean moving forward? TV-wise, streaming, premium live events. Vince McMahon, is he back in charge, ruining WWE? I don't know. We'll ask him. We'll see what he thinks there. So, John Alba, he will join us coming up in the show today. He's going to be really good. So, here's where the Heat are right now. The Heat beat Detroit last night by 13. They're 1 back of Brooklyn in the loss column. Miami has 5 games remaining. Brooklyn has 4. But they're really 2 back of Brooklyn because they don't own the tiebreak. That's going to be really tough to make up. Miami next up tomorrow at Philadelphia. It looks like the Heat are going to be able to sew up number 7. They're 2 ahead of Atlanta and Toronto. So we're staring number 7 right in the face. That's if they win the play. If you lose the play and then you win the second game there, you're going to be number 8. You're going to face Milwaukee in the first round. But you're staring play-in number 7 and then Boston in the first round. Now, Philly beat Boston last night. We'll get to that in big deal, not a big deal. But Philly now is still 2 back of Boston. They don't own the tiebreak either. Boston, I believe, won the season series now 3-1. That was Philly avoiding a sweep, winning last night. Big game from Embiid. Like I said, we'll get to that in big game or not a big game. Big deal or not a big deal. But the Heat last night, the Heat are down by 3 in the middle of the fourth quarter. At the worst team, the Pistons. Worst team in the East. I think Houston may have the worst record overall in the NBA. Jimmy scored 18 in the fourth quarter, helped the Heat take back the lead and pull away. You have to be disappointed that it took playoff Jimmy and a huge fourth quarter in order to pull away from that Pistons team. And I think that kind of sums up the season a little bit as well, where it was disappointing that they had to win the game like that. And I think all of us collectively are kind of like shrugging our shoulders at it too. This has not been an enjoyable season. And maybe they'll get to the playoffs and maybe they'll do something in the playoffs. But it really doesn't feel that way. You need playoff Jimmy to get past the Pistons? This season has not been enjoyable. There just haven't been enough good moments. There haven't been enough fun moments. And it's hard to believe, look, maybe those moments will come in the playoffs. But it's hard to believe that that's all of a sudden going to happen. So last night, I watched the second half when I got home. I recorded it. I watched a little bit of the first half at the Panther game there. They got it on in the Club Amaranth. And, the Heat were up by 15 in the first half. But Butler having to save them against Detroit kind of sucks. I guess of note is Kevin Love came off the bench for the second straight game. So, and I don't have a problem with it because Love is not, we know Love's deficiencies defensively, but he has not shot the ball well. And if he's not going to shoot the ball well and space the floor for Bam, then you may as well have him come off the bench. So Strus started in place of Love. And hey, while Strus is obviously right now shooting better than Love, we've had this conversation. Strus is a below average three-point shooter. He was great last year. I think it was 41% last year. But the 2 other years with the Heat, including this year, he's below average from 3. So he's still more of a threat right now than Love has been for Miami. But it's just not, he's not a good three-point shooter. I'm okay with the switch. I'm okay with the move right now because you do have to get someone who can space the floor. And right now, Strus is a bigger threat than Love. So I'm good with Love coming off the bench. Tomorrow night. Now, does Embiid play tomorrow night? We'll see. He loves resting. Loves taking games off. It seems like they're kind of locked into number 3. But tomorrow the Heat are on national TV. They're on TNT at the Philadelphia 76ers. And getting closer, you're not going to get 6, but you want to make sure you stave off Atlanta and Toronto for that 7 seed. You want the 7 seed. All right. So I don't have a whole lot otherwise on the Heat for you. Season ends this weekend. And I'm sorry, does it end this weekend? We've got 3 more games left. Hold on a second. Everybody calm down. Philadelphia tomorrow night. Yeah, and it's a Sunday. Then Friday back-to-back at Washington. And then they finish here against Orlando on Sunday afternoon. And then the play-in begins on Tuesday, I think. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are probably the playing games. And then the postseason gets started. The real postseason, the first round playoffs, I think starts on Friday. So we're right there, man. We're right in the thick of this thing here. Now, I should also mention, because you're listening to the show right now and you're saying to yourself, ZASLOW, double dip last night. That's awesome. Wasn't it a triple dip? No. We don't count the Marlins yet. The Marlins are not in this mix yet. The Marlins did win their second game of the season. They're 2-4 now. Sandy Alcantara looked again like Sandy Alcantara. Had not so great first outing against Scherzer. Alcantara last night, complete game shutout, 4 hits. I think he had 8 strikeouts. He was awesome. The Marlins won 1-0. They score 1 run every game. I think it's now 10 runs in 6 games they have. So the Marlins on average are scoring 1.7 runs a game. 1 run last night. 3 measly hits. So no, the Marlins do not get included when we're talking double dip or even triple dip. They are not included. 3 hits last night for the Marlins. Sandy, amazing. That's what you expect. But this team is unwatchable. The one positive about last night's game, and it's funny because this is the thing now with the pitching, with the clock and all of that, I'm obsessed with the time of these games. The Marlins game last night, 1 hour, 57 minutes. Sign me up. Sign me up for under 2 hour games. Now, that's very rare. It's because Sandy pitched a shutout. There were 7 combined hits for both teams. The Marlins games are going to be quick this year because they don't get hits. With no offense, no runs, no hits, games will be fast. And when Sandy's out there, you got a chance for under 2 hours. So the Marlins get their second win of the season, but they are not included when we're talking double dips and potentially at one point in the season, a triple dip. They are not included. Don't come at me with that. Now, what I want to come at you with is, if you're dealing with a leak in your house and you don't know where it's coming from, that's a problem. Well, it's not a problem anymore when you call Water Cleanup of Florida. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. Water Cleanup of Florida, immediate assistance, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, serving all the Tri-County areas. Miami, Broward, Palm Beach counties, fully licensed, insured, certified to provide. This is my favorite this is my favorite part. The one-stop shopping that busy homeowners like myself, business owners maybe like yourself, we require that, all right? There's no need to bring in another contractor to finish the job because Water Cleanup of Florida, they're handling the entire project from start to finish. You can follow them on social, on Facebook or Instagram. Call or text Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635 or WCUFL.com. Please, you can check, don't even believe me, you can check out their over 80 5-star reviews on Google. That's right. Call or text Water Cleanup of Florida. Let's make sure this leak doesn't become a major problem. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. We clean up your schmutz.